So hello, everybody. This is Marguerite Rigoglioso, and you are with us on the Activate Your Sacred Calling Global Online Activation. As I mentioned to those of you who have already been on the call and on the webcast, you might want to have something to drink with you and a notebook and a pen to jot down any thoughts, ideas, information. We're going to be running till about 11:30, and hope you'll stay with us till the end. You are not an anonymous mass. I can see who you are, unless you're on the web, actually. But it is very inspiring to have all of your energy with us today. So let me officially welcome you and introduce myself. I'm Marguerite Rigoglioso, founding director of Seven Sisters Mystery School, and I am moved and honored to be here with you today, leading you in this global activation of your sacred calling and this energetic seeding and celebration of the official birth of Seven Sisters Mystery School, which is tonight at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Those of you abroad will be deep into dream time. But Saturday, September 15th, 2012 at 7 p.m., that is the official birth of Seven Sisters Mystery School. And that is marking Sun and New Moon and Mercury in Virgo in the 7th house. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. I am truly delighted to know that we are edging up to 100 calls now from all over the United States, Canada, England, Italy, and probably beyond. Some of you I know, some of you have come to my talks or have participated in my programs or classes. Some of you are aware of my book, The Cult of Divine Birth in Ancient Greece and Virgin Mother Goddesses of Antiquity. And some of you I don't know at all, and this is maybe your first time hearing about me and about Seven Sisters Mystery School, so welcome one and all. What we're going to do in this next hour and a half is I will speak a little bit about what's going on in these times to make you feel so potently called to be a sacred server, and why the world really needs you now to claim that desire and step up your level of spiritual involvement both with yourself and with the world. And I'm going to lead you in a powerful meditative activation to help you really draw in energies of support from the universe for your spiritual work. I'll then talk a little bit about what exactly Seven Sisters Mystery School is and what it may offer you in the upcoming months and year to help you feel more fully validated and supported in your work as a sacred server. And let us just say directly, as a priestess or what I call authentic priest. I will talk about some upcoming resources that we're offering that might be intriguing and helpful to you in developing your knowledge base about our mystical history in the West. And then finally, at the end, I will have us join together in setting seeds of intention, not just for ourselves, but for our families, our loved ones, our communities, and the world. And in this, we will really be getting into unity consciousness, all 100 plus of us on the call, and using that power to feed positive thought forms on the planet, which we really do need so very much now. So I do hope that you will stay with us all the way through the call. Your presence and energy does matter, and while you're free to leave at any time, I hope that you will feel inspired to be with us till the end. My first order of business is that I really would like very much to thank the Seven Sisters Mystery School Executive Assistant, Kimberly Gibbons. She's currently a doctoral student in women's spirituality at the California Institute of Integral Studies, and she has really been doing an amazing job helping get the school on its feet and helping for this event to happen. So thank you very, very much, Kimberly. And with that, let us begin. So these are potent times, as most of you either know consciously or are feeling instinctively. This is 2012. We're in the midst of it. We are right smack in the midst. have you noticed that people are really, and you yourself, are really experiencing either extreme challenges right now or extreme openings these days? We've all had the sensation of time accelerating. There just doesn't seem to be enough time. Anything that is not working is falling away, sometimes catastrophically. You may have noticed that many people are choosing to leave the planet at this time and pass on to the other realms. People are feeling out of sorts and strange, but also elated. And there is just an incredible influx of potent energies that if you know how to harness them, you really can be riding a powerful wave and moving forward. But it is taking a great deal of courage and stamina and intention. So if you were having a weird time, you are not alone. And I think it is important for all of us to join together and talk about this because it does help. And really trying to get in with the grace of it, trying to stay steady and calm through these seas is really important, and that group communication can be very helpful to that. So this is really the time to step it up spiritually, both as a personal seeker as well as a world server. It is not the time to be shy. It's the time to really validate what's inside of you. You know that you are a spiritual server, a sacred being. That's why you're on this call. That's why you were attracted to the energy of what we were sending out for this call. You know that it's time to come into your full flowering, to really step into your role as an authentic and evolutionary priestess or priest, because we are not just returning to the past. We are moving into the future and in several rungs up into the spiral. You probably have a lot to learn, but you also have a lot to offer, and you may be trying to figure out how are you offering that, or how can you offer that in a big way. And so many of us who are not necessarily connected with the traditional religions are wondering, where is our tribe? What is our ministry? Where is our temple? We don't really have official holy orders anymore. We're also trying to consolidate and really articulate what are the teachings that are coming to us. What do we know deep inside of us? Some of us are carrying literally star wisdom from the stars. This is piecemeal. We can find this piecemeal in various traditional religions, in some of the pagan religions of the past, in the Greek writings, and in some of the more contemporary, what you might call New Age literature. But there's no real way that we've all been trying to piece it together. And in some ways, that's really good because we don't want to codify anything necessarily. We do want to keep supple and active and current with the information that's coming in, but we also need ways that we can clearly state for ourselves, what is it that we believe? What are the teachings coming through us? What is it that we want to be teaching? Where is it that we agree with other people? And how can we use this knowledge to really help the planet right now, to help our loved ones, and to raise the level of consciousness? That is what's happening right now. At this moment in time, it's going to be continuing beyond 2012. Many of you know that, and you can already feel it. And so we as world servers are really stepping up and activating and validating for ourselves that, yes, this is our role. We are holy people. We are sacred servers. And so what does that mean from here on in? So I invite you to just take a deep breath and perhaps take a little drink of water. I am going to do that myself right now because we're going to begin now our meditation. One thing that Seven Sisters Mystery School is about, which I will tell you a little bit more later, I'm just taking a drink of water here, is that we are about helping people unite the intellect and the intuition, the right and the left brain. In the Egyptian tradition, these were called the left eye of Horus teachings and the right eye of Horus teachings, and when you bring those together, you have binocular vision. So anytime we do any kind of meditation or visualization or intention setting through writing or thinking or putting thought forms out there, this is a powerful energetic technique that should not be underestimated. This is a real esoteric technology that we have at our disposal to start affecting reality and the time-space continuum in which we currently are in. So, of course, one thing we always need to know is that we have to do this with integrity, and it's always good to do this with the idea that we are uniting with our greatest good and the greatest good of all. Because a lot of times these teachings about manifestation that have been popularized of late leave out that final ingredient, which is that whatever you're manifesting, you want to put out the little prayer bubble that what I'm asking for here, I'm asking for the manifestation of this or better for the greatest good of all. And many of you who have been working in pagan traditions understand that, but the guides have told me that that's something I'm supposed to bring the attention of people to, so that we can have creations that are in alignment with the greatest good, because you can create many, many things on the planet. Henry Ford knew how to do it, and it's not always necessarily for the best. So we want to work on our ethics. We want to work on our integrity level in getting things into line. So I'm just going to invite you to close your eyes and take a deep breath. Inhaling and exhale. And the sound of the chime. And continuing to breathe. We're going to slow it down just a little bit here. And as you breathe, feeling your body in whatever you're seated in, feeling your feet on the floor or your legs on the floor, and really feeling yourself fully coming into your physical body, drawing down your auric energy down so you're fully in your body and you're breathing. And taking a deep breath in and exhale. And another deep breath in and exhale. And another deep breath in and exhale. Good. And becoming aware of your pelvis. And for women, becoming aware of your womb or your womb space if your uterus is not there. And for people of all genders, just become aware of your sex, of your second chakra, where those vital sexual and creative energies are. And seeing the entire circumference of your pelvis, a large grounding trunk that's like a tree. And seeing that, we're asking Gaia for permission to enter her with that grounding trunk, and allowing that grounding trunk to travel and drop all the way through the miles of the earth, down into the center of the earth, where scientists are telling us there's a molten iron crystal. And seeing your grounding trunk wrap around that crystal 3 times. And women, if you want to drop down plumb lines from your ovaries or your ovary space, you may do so similarly, dropping down and winding around that crystal. And really feeling rooted in your connection with Mother Earth. This is always the first thing to do, as many of you know, whenever you're doing a meditation. And whenever you're generally wanting to get clarity and calm in your life, is grounding. If you wish, you can bring the trunk all the way up to the top of your head so that your whole entire body is like a tree. Bringing that all the way down. And breathing. Feeling that connection with Gaia. And then you're going to see around you your auric field that goes at least 5 feet out in every direction, and you're going to see that filled with gold light. This is a protective field that you're setting, also important when you're doing spiritual work. And notice how you can do this. Even though we're all hundreds and thousands of miles away, you can hear my voice and you can be activated into your own minds for doing this work together. And now as you feel grounded, you are feeling and sensing a source of cosmic gold in what I call the cosmic womb of creation, Sophia herself. And you're seeing this energy pouring down and coming in a gold column all the way down the central channel of your body. And again, meeting in your abdomen with your root. And take a few moments to do an inhale and breathing in those energies from earth and sky. You can see the earth energy coming up as a teal blue and the gold coming down from the cosmos. Breathing that into your abdomen, seeing it mix, and breathing it back up the central column and down your grounding cord so that you are removing or transmuting any energies you don't wish for. So breathing in the nurturing and breathing down and up, a mixture and transmutation of what doesn't serve you in this moment. Doing this a few times on your own. Noticing how this is shifting you, shifting your brain waves so that you are really getting ready for work in the other dimensions. It is important for us to take this time to shift our energy because the world has so many distractions for us. As holy people, we regularly, I'm sorry to say, need to go into meditative states. This is how we keep and cleanse our instrument and keep it supple and vital and open. There is a little bit of a level of discipline to it, but just think. The monks who spent lifetimes, months, years, days, in the mountains meditating have created a field so that you only need to meditate maybe half hour to an hour a day. And the meditative work that you'll be doing will allow those coming behind us to have to meditate less time so that eventually they can instantaneously access these realms. Continuing this breathing. Now returning to normal breathing and just feeling yourself grounded. You're going to put out the call to our guides. Each one of us has a council of guides. You may call it angels. There are probably numbers of councils that are working with each one of us. And this is not unique to holy people, but as a holy person, as a sacred server, it will benefit you to become more and more aware of your guides and the fact that you can be in communication with these beings. And what facilitates this is going into the meditative state. So we are calling in our guides. And I'm going to call in a very high being, which is the being of love, the pure vibration of love itself. Now, as a sophisticated worker, you can allow yourself to begin to open and receive this energy. Just be gentle. Sometimes if you're getting mentally involved, you can close down your third chakra about around your belly, just letting that soften. We're calling upon this great being of love to fill us and activate us. And you may feel your heart chakra expanding to allow for this. Really tuning into this frequency. You know how to do this. Just play with it. This vibration, this very great being, which has manifestations in many of our beloved deities, is available at any time. But because we are together here, nearly 100 strong, do not underestimate the power of what we're doing together. This is subversive work. We are soldiers of peace, as Gandhi said. We're in that paradoxical realm. Being the warriors through love. Allow yourself to feel this love energy. If you feel the emotion of it, all the better. This is the pure vibration that the guides are telling me and many of us that they wish to have us embody and radiate on a daily basis. Taking this energy into every particle and quark of your body, your physical body, your auric field. This is a high-level technology. And you are doing this right now. You are being a conduit for this force on the planet. Moving from allowing yourself to receive to allowing yourself to radiate this love energy. And if you're having a challenge with this, tune into the frequency of compassion. Love, compassion, and forgiveness are sisters. Sometimes it's easier for us to get to love through the compassion channel. You are radiating out this frequency. We are radiating this out to our holy priests and priestesses on this call, we are seeing this global grid what the guides have said is all they need for us to do is start with doing this 5 or 10 minutes a day. Your life will change, the lives of those around you will change, and you will be a very, very positive force on the planet. You will be expressing your heart's desire, which is to help, which is to serve. No particle of love goes unnoticed in the planet. These are the levels of technology that they're wishing to bring us to, these kinds of group activations. And it really is this simple, because getting into this state brings great boons and blessings to you in everything you're doing automatically. And while we are in this vibration of love and compassion, we ask the great beings that are working with the planet, that are helping us, that are beyond the planet, that many of us are connected to or wish to be connected to, we are asking that they continue to transmit through us the teaching and the healing energies, the consciousness energies, that they may empower us, empower our lives, empower our work, our actions, our every breath. May our every breath be holy. May our every step be sacred. May our every thought be pure. We are asking for blessings on our work. So that we may fulfill this deepest heart's desire of being a force for good on the planet, a force for wisdom, because wisdom is the understanding of the light and the dark. So we know that we are not naive workers. We understand the underworld, and we know who we serve. And we are asking for blessings of abundance. So that we may do this work joyfully. That we may be fully supported in this work, and that all the ideas and resources and creative elements that we need will come to us. All the teachers and people and the finances will come to us in the perfect way and the perfect time to enable us to do this work on the planet abundantly, as a form of making a living should we so desire. We are now opening to the golden shower of abundance. The pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. The leprechauns really have that lesson for us. They're part of the Fae, and they are here to tell us that if you do get into sync with what you're doing, there is the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And they're happy to facilitate that. And they are telling us that they are happy to help shift the world economy if anyone would just pay attention to them. So I offer that as a thought that you can return to. Those of you who really love the Fae and the fairy realm, that is a real option for you, is to work with the leprechauns. They are more than happy to help. They love gold and shiny offerings. Whenever we're asking for help, it's always good to offer something to these beings. Libations poured out your door, milk, honey, water, wine, hibiscus tea, which is a substitution for blood, which is a substitution for menstrual blood. Any kind of offering from your heart to work in tandem with these forces, these beings, can be very, very helpful. And let's imagine that we are joining hands with all of the people on this call. By doing so, we are creating the net, the real net, not just the internet, but the intranet. The net has long been a symbol of the goddess. The golden net, the silver net. We are creating that net because in that net we know we are all connected and thus we are all protected. And we are affirming our protection at this time. We are affirming that by joining in this grid, we are guarded and guided, accompanied and witnessed. And when it is above board, nothing negative happens in secret. We are releasing all those pictures from those past lives, from the dungeons and whatever else happened. Releasing those now and joining in this net, this evolutionary net, of fine gossamer threads that are of the strongest possible connectivity, far stronger than steel. And reaffirm this or better for the greatest good of all. And taking a few breaths, really feeling yourself in your body. Allowing yourself to slowly open your eyes. Coming back to full waking consciousness, feeling your grounding beneath you. Feeling your heart open. Feeling yourself receptive to the energies that are coming through my words, which are more than just the content of the words, as the guides have been telling me. And allowing ourselves to now come back into listening mode, a little bit of intellect mode, what I'm really feeling is the connection with all of you and the pride pride in this pride, the pride in the pride that we are, like a lion's pride. We really have been working it, and we really want to be working it, and we really are here to give and to serve and to receive in that giving and that serving. We are releasing all poverty pictures. This is about creating abundance for all. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about then Seven Sisters Mystery School and how we are connected with this work. What is Seven Sisters Mystery School all about? Well, the name was born, as are many things, in the shower. I was in the shower when the word Seven Sisters came to me, but it was no accident because I had been receiving information about the Seven Sisters, whom some of you know in the Greek tradition were, and many traditions, are the seven Pleiades. Seven sisters of the Pleiades who were considered the seven mothers of the world. This is not just a New Age idea, come to find out. This is an ancient idea that goes back with roots not only in ancient Greece, but really all over the world. Sumer, and then many of our First Peoples, First Nations traditions on every continent have Pleiadian origin stories in these seven sisters. The seven sisters are virgins. They're virgin mothers. And in the Greek tradition, they engaged with sexual relations with certain Greek gods and were said to have given birth to a large portion of humanity. So this is really a story about seedings of human beings, human consciousness. They are not the only ones responsible, but what's happening here is the reemergence of a new cosmology, a new story, a new old story that's a little bit more accurate as to what really happened, and a story that I feel our religions have obscured by telling us other types of creation stories that don't really go back far enough. How far does this Pleiadian story go? I do not know. You might want to consult Helena Blavatsky's Isis Unveiled or The Secret Doctrine, because she talks about just millions of years of planetary activity. But the seven sisters, as I know them, were these virgin beings that came to be associated with the stars we know as the Pleiades, that star system, that asterism, which is really hundreds, if not thousands, of stars. But we identify them as seven, plus their mother, Pleione, and their father, Atlas. They often are associated with North Africa, the seedings being in Africa. The Greek stories really talk about an African origin. For me, the Pleiades have really been talking to me about the phenomenon of virgin birth as something that was actually practiced, first by the goddesses themselves, and then by the human women, the highest level holy women, as a means of bringing avatars and high-level consciousness beings to the planet. So as many of you know who are familiar with my work, my books detail the academic evidence for that in the Greek tradition in particular, and I'm going to be talking more about that in future books, expanding beyond just the Mediterranean world. But these seven sisters have appeared to me as really a guide. There are numerous channels about the Pleiades giving different types of information, and it's important to know that the Pleiades are many. They, like many star systems, have a lot of things going on. Just like on planet Earth, we can't really say there's one consciousness on planet Earth. There's so much going on. So I'm keying more into the Seven Sisters energy, the Virgin Mother energy. And when I key into that energy, what they tell me is that this is about a new evolutionary rung where they would like to help us get back to what I called earlier unity consciousness. And around the world, the Pleiades are known as manifestors or symbols of unity. And so, what is that unity? Well, we just had a little bit of a taste of it on the meditation. But it's really looking at how do we all function together on this planet, and what is a consciousness of unity? And I've been given glimpses of amazing ways that we are going to be coming into communication with one another, where people are immediately able to acknowledge their karmic material. They're immediately able to acknowledge their shadow sides in any type of interaction and move through it very quickly, so that type of shadow material isn't clogging up any type of relationship, but then we can move forward. Once we heal and settle some of those deeper, darker issues, then we can really start getting creative in how we are on the planet, how we are with one another, and we can achieve miracle levels with one another. And that's what I feel the Pleiades are guiding us to do. And the virgin birth piece of bringing back avatars is important to that, because we need high-level consciousness beings walking around the planet. There are many already, and some of you are moving in that direction, but there's nothing like a good avatar, just from birth. Get the person on the planet, have them be radiating a particular type of energy and moving humanity ahead. So that's a little bit of the basis of Seven Sisters Mystery School, and our school is, in general, dedicated to restoring the ancient way of the priestess and the authentic priest. So men who are really not interested in all of those hierarchical structures that are associated with traditional religions, but are really interested in what priestesses are interested in, which is getting to the authentic kernel of being a world server, being a transmitter of high-level frequencies, being a manifester and a creative healer on the planet. And we're doing, the school is looking at this in service to today's world. So we are looking back historically, but we're also looking forward. And as I mentioned, we're looking to help you unite intellectual knowledge with high-level intuitional information, because my sense is that the ancient mystery schools, which is what I am energetically patterning this school after, is we're always dedicated to the highest level intellectual knowledge combined with the highest level clairvoyant knowledge. And that's where you go deeper and deeper, because understanding pieces of history and understanding specific teachings that are verbally given to you can really enhance your level of clairvoyance or enhance what you see on the other realms, in the astral realms. And then receiving information directly from the Akashic records or the astral realm can then feed into how you know how to read certain historical documents and how you know how to understand what went on back in the past. And these two things feed one another. And it's really important to have this, this type of binocular vision, because it allows us to build. It allows us to build ourselves, and it allows us to really be effective workers on the planet. We want to help you deepen your human experience, lift your vibration, assist in the quantum transformation of others who are open to healing and growth. And my aim is for those who come in contact with the school to have nothing less than what the Greeks called entail. Entail. That's a really beautiful and neat term in Greek that means both being in the divine and having the divine in you. En theos, in God, in the divine, and the divine being in you. And we wish to be a sort of central portal for community, creation of community. So you can find us at sevensistersmysteryschool.com. That's all written out. And I've got a free video up there talking about these times and how you're vitally needed as a world server. And I also offer 3 free audios that are going to stimulate you intellectually and intuitively. So do check that out. I talk about why women need a God who looks like us and how it benefits men too. That's one of the audio gifts. The other one is signs you may be a priestess or priest and why the world needs you badly now. So I really go more deeply into that topic. And the third is, what is this virgin birth business all about? And I give a lot more information there. So in order to cultivate wisdom, again, the mystery schools understood that you had to feed and develop both the intellect and the intuition and magical skills. Both go together in tandem. And so one of the things you need to nourish yourself as a spiritual server is historical knowledge. It's extremely, extremely helpful. And good historical knowledge that's really grounded in the ancient texts, so that we have as accurate a picture as possible of what went on. So one of the tools that this school uses, therefore, is teaching programs. We need to know about what went on before so that we can know what's possible in a way for the future. We need to know what happened and what went down so that we can avoid that in the future as well. And so one of the things that, I've already had a few programs going on this past year. One was the Divine Birth Mystery Teachings, which concluded in July. That was a 6-month program, which I'll also be offering again in the spring. But it really led people through a lot of the academic details and the mystery knowledge of evidence for divine birth in ancient Greece. And we combined that with a lot of ritual work that women were doing to step up into their level of power as priestesses. And I'm now involved in a new program called Becoming the Professional Priestess, where I have a group of women that is exploring group work, group oracular work, going into these oracle spaces together and what that means. What I have coming up in the fall is a webinar, my first webinar. Now, and this is something for all of you too, because as servers, you need to know how to get your work out in a bigger way. I completely resisted this idea of going online at all. I thought, hate it, don't ever want to go there. I'm a spiritual person, need to be in person, need to feel the energy. Well, I've really since learned how powerful this medium is, and I think some of you on this call are feeling that as well. Some of you do seminars yourself, teleseminars and webinars. So what's coming up is a really juicy webinar for you, for both women and men, and it's called Women's Spirit Power in the Ancient World. And this is an online course of 3 parts starting October 13th, running October 13th, 27th, and November 3rd. On a Saturday morning again, 10 to 11:30, like we are here today, so that our friends in UK and Europe and all over can listen to it. And there are going to be some really wonderful PowerPoint images that go along with these lectures. And the 3 lectures are When Women Still Held the Keys, Priestesses in Ancient Greece. And this material is something that I really haven't talked about very much in my previous lectures that many of you have seen. This is more the nitty-gritty of who these priestesses of Greece were, what did they do, how did they function, how were they chosen, what were they really up to. And as many of you know, what I bring to the academic material is the 3D vision of what they were doing esoterically, which is not something you're going to get in many other academic books. So we're going to be looking at that from that perspective, and it's it's great to know about what these priestesses were doing because it gives us ideas and sparks for how we're recreating these orders today. Not in a way that's going to imprison us, in a way that's going to stay alive, but we do need structure. Structure is helpful. So that particular talk will be really good for that. And that's part 1 on Saturday, October 13th. Part 2 of this Women's Spirit Power in the Ancient World is going to be called From on High, Women's Sacred Use of Hallucinogens in Antiquity. Now, a lot of people are interested in this, men and women. The use of sacred medicines to open up consciousness is, as we all know, a very, very taboo topic. It has become very ensnarled and forbidden in these times and dangerous. But a lot of people are very, very interested in finding out what was going on and what was women's role, and therefore what can women's role be again today, because these plants are really our allies in opening up to the intuitional realm. So I offer a glimpse of what was going on back in antiquity, what were some of the medicines and plants that were being used. And that's important information for us to have. And the third session on Saturday, November 3rd, is Battling for Their Lives, North African Amazons as Real Warrior Women. This is another important and taboo and controversial area. I look at these Amazons. The Amazon stories we've been told in the West are all about those Amazons from the Turkey region who marched on Greece and were defeated. And that is always portrayed as a mythological, quote, meaning fictional story. Well, in fact, it's pretty clear that those were actually real women and that the precursors to those women were actually women in Africa, warrior women in Africa known as the Libyan Amazons, around the time of earlier, before the Trojan War, 1275 BCE. So this would explain why there has been a continued tradition of female warriorhood in Africa. And I'm going to be looking at some really original research that I've done in Tunisia about who these women were, what they were up to, where were they going, and what was their sacred function as well as their political function, because these two were twined in. And why would women turn to warriorhood? Is that something we want today? Or is that always going to be kind of a response to things going down in the society that are really not helpful for women and men? So those are the 3 parts. This webinar, again, is called Women's Spirit Power in the Ancient World, and it's going to provide you really, ultimately, with empowerment to take on your own sacred mantle, whether you're a woman or a man. These things open our minds and expand us and give us a lot of information. So I will just briefly talk to you about how you can sign up. There is a link for those who are on the web part of this, and others of you can access this if you click onto the web part of this. There's a link that says register for this webinar. But I'll also give you the URL, and many of you who have been on my email list will also be getting that URL, but you might want to take advantage of it today because the regular tuition will be $147 for this 3-part webinar. There's an early bird discount for those who register by midnight on October 6th. The tuition will only be $97. And today, if you register within the half hour of this call, you can participate in the webinar for only $77. And that is definitely a bargain, particularly if you divide that by 3 and figure how much would you be spending to go to hear a lecture, right? In order to get that discount, when you get to the payment field, you need to type into the coupon code area the following: mystery 20. The lowercase mystery, followed directly by the numbers 20, and that will get you the discount. When you go into pay, you have to pay through PayPal, you'll see a little green button that points to the PayPal button. Don't click the green button, click the PayPal button. When you get to PayPal, you can either pay by, if you have an account, going directly to your bank account, or you can click the other payment method, use other payment method, and you can pay by your credit card. So the first 3 people who register from this call into that webinar will also receive something rather nice, which is a half hour of spiritual mentoring with me, either by phone or Skype or in person if you're local. And that means I work with you and your guides clairvoyantly to look at what are your next steps as a spiritual seeker and a spiritual server. And people have had very powerful experiences working with me in this regard, looking at how can you bring your gifts out in a bigger way. And so that session is complimentary. It's ordinarily $200, so that's a rather nice gift for you. So to register, again, if you're on the web, you can just click on the little register for the webinar tab that's on our control panel. And if you are on phone, I'm just going to dictate you the link. And if you miss it, you can always just write to us at info@sevensistersmysteryschool.com. We'll be here for the next half hour after the call to give you that link. But it's sevensistersmysteryschool.com, the first part of the link, /women, WOMENS, no apostrophe, --spirit, --power, -in, -the, -ancient, -world. And that ends with a slash, a backslash. So again, sevensistersmysteryschool.com /women -spirit -power -in -the -ancient -world /. And again, if you missed that or don't want to be bothered, you can email us at info@sevensistersmysteryschool.com anytime during this call or after the next half hour, and we will get you the link, and then you just go to that and you can order from there. So I'm very excited about that webinar. The material on it has not been covered in my public presentations on Divine Birth or Mary or the Pleiades or anything I've done publicly in the last 2 years. And so there should be some refreshing new information for you. And the material, I think, on women's sacred use of hallucinogens in antiquity is quite original and informative. So this is all part of our education, our need to reconstruct the ancient holy orders so that we can move forward in an entirely new and evolutionary way appropriate to this emerging era. We need our information back. And again, to take advantage of the $77 discount, all you need to do is type Mystery20 into the coupon code. Okay. Oh, and then also remember to hit apply when you type that in, okay? All right, enough of that. I would like to just share in our last bit together a little bit about some of our vision for the future. We also hope and plan to be working with men more directly as well as women. One thing I have on the horizon for probably either January or the spring is an afternoon workshop, which would be the start of something larger with men, called Claiming Your Authentic Priest Self, an afternoon for spiritual men who want to step it up. And this is really to help men who love the sacred, are intuitive, and sense there's more, the sacred male, as I call you, to come together in the way that women have been coming together for several decades, not as many men have. And I would be co-facilitating this with a sacred male. And this is really about helping men to begin to step into this new level of power, to put on this mantle. And really look at what is needed in the men's community to develop authority in this way, to bring your gifts out to the world more clearly, and really to be talking also about the grieving, getting through the grieving period, which is something that happens certainly when women have gotten together over the last few decades. There's been a lot of grieving as we remember the past lives of persecution and so forth. And then how do we move ahead from there? So do keep that in mind, and you can always get on our mailing list by signing into the Seven Sisters Mystery School site. We would love to be in touch with you about that. And so I would like then to move into just talking about today, the birthday, the astrological birthday of Seven Sisters Mystery School. Kimberly Gibbons, our executive assistant, was prescient enough to say, maybe we should consult an astrologer to find out what is a great moment for us to birth a school. And this woman named Agnes Liebhardt, Liebhardt, who lives in the Marin County area, and I can give you her information if you want that. You can write to us at info@sevensistersmysteryschool.com. Did a wonderful chart for us and discovered that today, Saturday, September 15th, 2012, at 7 p.m., is the ideal birth date for our school, and that is a time when we should be putting a lot of energy into the vision and feeding the vision. And it's through that conversation with her that this teleseminar was born, because I realized that I wanted to have people join together energetically to help anchor and feed this, because in feeding this for the school, you're really helping to feed it for yourself in the future, and there will be many other ventures that will no doubt be created as a result of the ripples of this school going out. So I really thank you for being here on this call for this. And just a few things about this birthday at 7 p.m. West Coast time. We, of course, are in Virgo. And having just explained to you all the importance of the Virgin and the Virgin birth, Holy Virgin in the motif of the priestess and the school. And by the way, we're not exclusively devoted to that, because we really see virginity and holy virginity as being on a spectrum with tantric sexuality, which also includes the sacred union. So we really embrace the all. But we are in Virgo because the Virgin is another thing that has gone by the wayside in this society, has really been denigrated and misunderstood and misappropriated and used manipulatively for women, with this injunction that every woman is supposed to be a virgin. No, only virgins are supposed to be virgins. Only committed, dedicated, holy women who want to retain their inner tantric power are supposed to be virgins. And but we are in Virgo, the symbol of the Great Mother, sometimes associated with Vesta and Hestia, and that is highly appropriate. This is the new moon tonight, the dark of the moon, and that is a particularly potent time for seeding new intentions. So it's important that we were doing the meditation, that we will conclude with another meditation at this time. Very potent. Sun, new moon, and Mercury are in Virgo in the 7th house. We have Pisces rising and Sagittarius in the midheaven. Those of you who are a little bit more adroit with astrology might be able to read something into that. We have Uranus and Aries in the 1st house, conjuncting Pallas Athena. And we have something known as the part of fortune, T-A-R-T of fortune, which I hadn't heard of before. Apparently this is seen as a circle with an X inside, and where it is in the chart points to a place where you are given a gift, where you have easy access to that part of self and you are constantly gifted. And for us as a school, the part of fortune is exactly conjunct our ascendant. So that means that we have a lot of favor with the deities smiling upon us. And I just wanted to read this remarkable bit which represents the frequency for the Sun-Moon conjunction in Virgo on the new moon today, that represents that our school will be governed under. This is called Virgo 24, and it's the symbol of what we're all about. Our school under this particular configuration is a silver trident. So I will read what this symbolizes and thus what the school symbolizes. It goes as follows. Standing for something, publicly, openly, freely showing conviction, vision, attunement to the whole. Making a big issue out of seeing and knowing what we all need to get in touch with. Making sure nobody can get away with ignoring or avoiding the truth at hand. Now, this is not something she invented or I invented. This is an actual oracular piece that's written up according to what these different astrological transits are. So I'm going to continue. We think it's remarkable because it really does correspond with what the school is all about and what you are all about, right? Being granted a distinctive point of view, which is fundamentally innocent, naive, hopeful, visionary, and empowering. Bearing the ideal of what is intended, what is possible, what is emergent. Given the assignment to show that we can understand and champion the best, the finest, the truest in our nature and capacity. And again, I want you all to feel the energy of this because this all applies to everybody on the call, really. Propelled to insist, to stand strong, to hang in there. Fundamentally uncompromising and unimpressed. Just knowing that certain things must get across and it really doesn't matter if it hurts or who likes it or whether the self is seen as marvelous or terrible. Now, I do need to say that to me it does matter if it hurts. So I think that getting points across with grace is certainly my personal cutting edge, and I think, the cutting edge that the school will be working with. But it goes on, great dispassion in perspective, standing back alone, yet played through by evocative, more of a vigil than a battle cry, indeed. It is simply being there to spread the views that spirit will prevail inevitably. Invisible to the greatest possible extent, inspired, guided, given explicit instructions by those who know and care. Entrusted with crucial matters, chosen to carry things through, perhaps even knowing with expanded facilities the source, the ultimate level. Definitely shown what is needed to be seen when it is time. Possessed of a lofty spirit, character that is impregnable, a remarkable way to be in dark times. Just not adapted to fashion, to what is popular, to what is deemed practical. Finally, principles, guidelines, the vertical, able to stay aligned with the greater cosmic truth and to speak for this. Yet much of it is silent. And as my friend Maura Torkelson reminds me, silence can be seen as the greatest of the cosmic mother, as the pregnant void, out of which all creativity is born. So the last thing we will do together then is to once again close our eyes, and we will not be much longer on the call, so do hang on. I see that most everybody has been with us, and thank you. So allow yourself to close your eyes, go deeply in, breathing. Reestablishing your grounding into Mother Earth, into Gaia. And your connection with the golden light of the cosmic womb. And then, as you stand guard in a protective circle, women, I invite you to see your womb or your womb space, being now an intimate link up with Gaia's womb, that central crystal in the center of the earth, and the cosmic womb, Sophia. Feeling that connection. And if you wish, allowing yourself to now radiate out from your womb that connective net to the other women on the call, so that we are, with free will and in perfect protection and health, for positive energies only and positive intentions only. We are connecting our wombs. We are just reminding ourselves of this womb grid that is always available for us to tap into and rejuvenate. And it is this womb grid through which we may send positive intentions, pieces of wisdom and information we receive, oracular consciousness outward. And we see this womb grid expanding to the wombs of all women who are willing to join with us through free will, so that they may be part of it, to be either activated or awoken or energized. With information from Gaia's womb and the cosmic womb, where all information resides. And then feeling connected to Gaia and the cosmic womb as well. And once again, feeling our unity field, our unity consciousness, the net uniting us all, men and women and all genders on the call. We envision the energies of blessing, of the highest level of integrity and energy coming into us. The very energies and essences that were just described for Seven Sisters Mystery School. We see that radiating outward, filling us and radiating outward, so that we're all beacons for this information, for this level of fortitude and integrity. And for those of us who wish to send a special blessing to Seven Sisters Mystery School for strengthening, for being in high-level integrity, we welcome that as well. We call upon the Seven Sisters to bless this endeavor, and bless all of our endeavors. And really allowing yourself to feel that you have become a vessel now that is holding these energies and is able to freely pour and radiate out these energies throughout your day and in the coming hours and weeks and months. And we are in gratitude, which is another high vibrational frequency, in gratitude for one another, in gratitude for this information coming through, in gratitude for being here at this momentous time, in gratitude for the ecstasy of it all. And once again, feeling your grounding, breathing, gently opening your eyes. I thank you so much, dear ones, for being on this call with me, for being on this call with one another, for being on this call with the guides and the Seven Sisters. I invite you to stay in touch with us. You can write to us about general questions at info@sevensistersmysteryschool.com. You can write to me personally at Marguerite@sevensistersmysteryschool.com, MARGUERITE. And basically, we come to conclusion with a bell chime sends our beautiful highest level intentions all throughout the cosmos in every dimension of time, space, reality. Thank you so much for being here for us, for yourself. We are now concluding this wonderful, wonderful global activation together, and I look forward very much to being in touch with you. Okay, blessings, dear ones. Goodbye.